What's up, everybody? This is the Act Man here, and today I wanted to talk about the state of DICE, 2042, EA, and the Battlefield franchise. I'm making this video in place of a review I had planned where I would have, played 2042 and seen how it improved since the god-awful beta. I'll admit, it's great that many of the outrageous game-breaking bugs and seizure-inducing glitches have been fixed. Great news. And there's even more good news because DICE actually put in a real epilepsy warning.
Mission accomplished. Good work.
Game's complete, boys. That's a wrap. This is the first time I've ever encountered a situation like this in my time on YouTube or as I've been preparing a video. The game is so bad. It is so laughably unfun and busted. I refuse to review it. I refuse to go through the process of gathering footage needed to actually produce a review. I always try to find some nugget of potential within even the worst games, but after I played 2 matches, it's like, I'm done, that's it, science experiment over, I'll take an F for this one. Look, I understand I might be sounding a bit harsh throughout this video, but guess what? Modern gaming is real. It's here, and it's coming to destroy your favorite franchises. In truth, it may have just killed Battlefield for good. I'd actually recorded a different version of this video a few days ago for a separate reason, and then DICE came out with their update on the state of 2042, and so let's break this down, alright? We'll get to the crux of why DICE is incompetent and so out of touch. You've waited patiently to hear from us on what we're doing to address the issues with Battlefield 2042 that you have told us about, and the direction you can expect to see us take in the months ahead. The statement reminds me of one of my favorite quotes.
It is such a quiet thing to fall, but far more terrible is to admit it.
It's very important the way DICE phrases things because in the first sentence you can see their signature gaslighting technique on full display. Not once do they apologize for the atrocious state of the game or the issues present within it, but rather they're addressing the issues that we told them about. As in, they didn't realize these were issues until the game released. Key features that are important to you. They're not important to us. They weren't made a priority prior to release. We didn't care about them, but you do. You've told us that. So, okay, we're gonna do what you're asking for. It's because DICE has a history of getting so far up their own ass that it is impossible for them to admit when their ideas are shit or when they're on the wrong path. The most ironic part of this post, and the problem rests with EA too, is that they're willing to delay Season 1 content, but not delay the launch of the actual fucking game itself. It's just like, now you want to take your time and get it right. Now, okay, after you sold the game, after it lost 90% of its player base on Steam, okay, now you want to make sure the features are up and running. Gotcha. Up until this point, DICE had been pretty much radio silent on the majority of player complaints and addressing them, so it's no coincidence that this update comes roughly around the same time as EA having their quarterly conference calls with investors. So that EA can point to this statement and say, hey, buddy, no need to worry about this, Battlefield game that's severely underperforming. We're doing something about it.
Geez, Hermes, you seem awfully calm about this.
Don't worry. I have a plan. I'm going to jump!
As you might already be aware, 2042 is sitting at a lower average player count on Steam than Battlefield 1 and 5, which is truly outstanding to see a big-ass AAA game collapse that quickly in just 3 short months. That is impressive. It also makes no sense how EA wants this to be a live service game, but where's the live service? I mean, there's been essentially only minor bug fixes since release. Nothing substantial, nothing new, not a new map or weapons or anything. That only works when you have a good audience to start with and you continuously keep them involved. But when you delay massive chunks of content months out in advance, till summer, who are you making this content for? The 3% people that are going to be left? What's even the point then? DICE does not apologize, and instead they say, hey, here are some in-game cosmetics. Who wants to rock cosmetics that signal to everyone else, yeah, I was an idiot who paid for the $100 version of this game? It's just like, it's truly amazing to see how poorly this game has been handled, how out of touch and incompetent DICE are as a studio. I honestly didn't expect it to be this terrible. 2042 did not meet expectations.
What? You don't say. You don't say. You don't say!
Oh, I bet you're gonna tell me grass is green too. Now, originally, the straw that broke the camel's back for me to make this video was in a blog post, which I just saw the other day, from their Battlefield briefing update on November 23rd. We also want to give you the assurance that we're carefully evaluating your desire to see legacy features return. End of match scoreboard, server browser, and features like voice chat are big topics for us to cover all at once. And we have plenty we want to say around them. Now, I'll be angry with this statement in a moment, but it just showed to me, it illustrated perfectly just how out of touch DICE is with their fans, their customers, their community, the Battlefield franchise, and the game industry as a whole. It is astonishing the level of incompetence that has been put on full display by DICE and EA, with 2042 and their employees' reactions to genuinely fair criticism. The removal of features like voice chat, server browser, and a scoreboard were all extremely poor decisions. Notice I said decisions, because these features were cut intentionally. That's right. That's how out of touch they are. But to go a step further and call them legacy features, to imply that a fucking scoreboard is an outdated relic of the past. You don't need that. To imply these things are not essential and were never considered important at all during development. Fuck you. Fuck you, DICE. Holy shit. That speaks volumes to me. And if you go back to the other post I was talking about, at the bottom they say, we are committed to and focused on ensuring Battlefield 2042 lives up to our ambitions and your expectations. It's a task we're dedicated to accomplishing. You already failed at that. It's gone. The opportunity is gone. You cannot recover. I do not understand why this game was not delayed. How you could ignore everything the Battlefield community has been asking for in no uncertain terms. I do not understand why removing classes in favor of specialists was ever an idea that was seriously considered. I cannot comprehend why you continue to fight your audience when they criticize your games for not even being close to reasonable expectations. I have no idea how so many bad decisions, how so much poor management and incompetence could slip through the cracks when you have the largest number of people working on a Battlefield title ever. I cannot comprehend how you, DICE, and EA have been in this position to release a new Battlefield or Battlefront title, and you have only gotten worse at it. I have no idea why 2042 exists in the way that it does. You see, DICE and EA continue to display the same arrogance and contempt for their audience that made Battlefront 2 and Battlefield 5 such a shit show. They have learned nothing.
You brought us here for nothing! I won't take questioning or second guesses, not from the likes of you, Master Twig.
Who's to blame him? Every decision you've made led us from bad to worse.
You constantly brush aside community outrage and label it as, oh, your brutal expectations. What's that? You want to shoot a gun at someone and have it actually hit them? God, you guys got brutal expectations, man. Just tone it down. Fuck you. I'll say this right now. Whoever is running the personal relations departments with EA and DICE, fire them, right? The very first thing anybody who gets a job in the service industry learns, don't fight the customer. There is no reason to harass or berate the customers. Ideally, you hope that most of your customers or audience are satisfied and happy with the product or service that you provide, so that they will be willing to defend you against the more outrageous people who are just always mad about everything. And that way, like, your community is overall healthy and it keeps other people in check, you know? If you provide a good or service that I like and enjoy, I will give you what you like and enjoy, which is money. This is a transaction. We are both happy at the end of it. That's how it's supposed to work. A 19-year-old dude working minimum wage has a better concept of how to interact with customers than a multi-billion-dollar corporation does. Just think about that for a moment. When your fan base has to fight you tooth and nail, begging for basic-ass features to be implemented like a scoreboard, I'm sorry, but it's a lost cause at that point. I don't care what you have planned for the future. I'm out.
I've got to say, I think this is a liability nightmare. You don't have any claims that you can back up, so I'm out.
You've lost already, and the numbers reflect that. The review scores reflect that. The reviews that you cherry-picked and cut out sections of, basically false advertising, those reviews reflect that. The posts on the subreddit reflect that. The tweets reflect that. Everything reflects to this singular concept idea that you fucked up bad. So just own it. Just own it. It's why statements like these never get a positive reaction.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right? You don't want to do that either. You think you do, but you don't.
Fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
This is only one example of how out of touch DICE is with reality. And it's through their decisions like the removal of a scoreboard to address toxicity. It's through shit like that. It brings only negative repercussions to player experience. You're not removing toxicity by removing social features, you're creating it in a different form. If you want people to be less toxic about the game, make a better game. Why are you so concerned with addressing toxicity that you remove basically every method players have to interact with each other? In a team-based cooperative shooter, no less. It's like making it illegal for everyone to drive cars simply because car crashes happen. No cross-team chat or switching squads, switching teams, post-game lobbies, you can't see other players' stats or who the best squad is, no server browser, nothing. You are gutting the game under the asinine pretense of making the gaming space healthier, when all you've really done is made it much, much worse. You know, and shit like the scoreboard and lack of social features, it's all just there to manipulate players into convincing them that they're not as bad as they really are. It's why Call of Duty stopped showing you deaths on the scoreboard, or why kills and assists have kind of combined into eliminations. You don't want to feel bad if you suck, do ya? Listen, these are M-rated games. I can handle it if my KD isn't perfect, okay? I'd rather see it and know how I'm playing than not at all. I'm not going to list every feature that was cut or all the ways that 2042 has been downgraded from its predecessors because we'd be here for the next 5 hours. My point is, I don't get how such an experienced studio could ever come to the conclusion that removing a scoreboard is a good call, is the right decision to make. Like, am I not mistaken? Are there not some measures put in place to avoid this exact type of catastrophe? Aren't there like checks and balances? Don't you have focus groups or fucking something to gauge people's interest in your current ideas? And I know that 2042 was through some development hell, but putting that aside, the Battlefield fanbase could not be any more clear about what it is they want. Battlefield 4.5, essentially. Even I know that. Battlefield 4 again, the fundamentals of that game with the movement of Battlefield 5, and maybe the atmosphere and immersion of 1. Do you guys not do focus group tests? Do you not communicate at all with the community, with like Battlefield YouTubers or streamers or people that are huge fans? Do you not gauge what your audience is actually interested in? What they buy Battlefield for? I guarantee if you held multiple focus group tests and told them what you were pre-planning years ago, you would have caught all of this shit. You would have realized what a bad idea it was. You would have seen near universal agreement. No, this is not the game we want. But instead, you've pursued everything that Battlefield was never meant to be. hazard zones, specialists, the big ass maps are flat and uninteresting. The confusion the lack of a scoreboard causes, the importance of a server browser, squad size, hazard zone, and everything else, it just astounds me. The level of incompetence that allowed so many blunders to make it to launch night. Greed is what pushes products out before they are ready. Satisfying investors can rob the creativity process, and what you're left with is a game that has no direction. But you know, like, Halo Infinite has proven that certain franchises don't need to chase other trends. They don't have to pretend to be something they're not in order to be successful and to be loved. Battlefield is another franchise in that lucky position of having an established audience and a familiar core gameplay loop that is so captivating to millions of people. You already have the label. Battlefield is the trend that other games are supposed to copy, not the other way around. It's because DICE and EA wanted to continue chasing the Battle Royale trend and the specialist trends for more money from a larger audience that the game has completely backfired on them. Like, Call of Duty is the one supposed to be copying Battlefield. Battlefield is not supposed to be copying Call of Duty, Overwatch, and Rainbow Six Siege. You know what I mean? If you create the type of product catered to your core audience, and deliver it to even just moderate expectations, then chances are they will sell the game for you. People will hear stuff from their buddies like, yo dude, have you played the new Battlefield 2042? Oh man, it's like the glory days of 4. This is the best time to start getting into the Battlefield games. This is the perfect opportunity. And then they start playing the game with their buddies because guess what? It's a squad-based shooter, and that's how you get more people to buy it. That's happened to me countless times. Call of Duty can survive based solely on the fact that the majority of its audience genuinely doesn't give a shit how bad the games are or how boring and repetitive they are. Same thing with Madden and all those sports games. Battlefield comes out every 3 or so years, and they're a much more mature fan base, I would say. That's my point. DICE and EA have seemingly lost all ability to understand the consumer's desires and what they're more likely to spend money on. This is why they get so flustered and publicly flame and gaslight their fans when it inevitably blows up in their face. Remember when they said Battlefield 2042 was way ahead of schedule? Yeah.
You're a liar! You're a liar! You know something that you're not telling us, you slimy scumbag liar!
Just like how Cyberpunk was performing better than expected on last-gen hardware, you can't trust a fucking thing these shithead companies say now, because they just lie to your face. They lie to their publishers, and the publishers then take those lies and lie to the investors. It's fucking sickening. No roadmap, no responses to major controversies, a rotating game mode that you cut out in a game that severely lacks content. One of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite movies, Remember the Titans.
Attitude reflect leadership, Captain.
The state of DICE and Battlefield is in total disarray. People are jumping ship from the franchise. They're saying, yep, it's dead, it's gone, I'm never coming back. And DICE is doing as little as they possibly can to maintain the meager and dwindling audience that they have. This game already failed. It already flopped. Any updates that come afterwards are not going to get people back into it. The game underneath is bad, and you are a fool to pursue it this way. I mean, there's rumors of the game going free to play less than 3 months after they sold this for $100. Every part of 2042 is being made fun of, berated by the fans. The specialists are cringy, except for Angel, he gets a pass.
Yeah, Angel does it again.
Steam is offering full refunds even if you fall outside their usual policy. The subreddit is completely overtaken by negativity and memes making fun of the game. Where DICE's previous games were usually promising and competent enough to keep people invested and willing to wait, 2042 is not. It is not Battlefront 2 or Battlefield 5. It does not have potential. The reason I'm so pissed off is because so many of us were genuinely excited for this and wanted to see it succeed after BF5 and Battlefront 2. We just wanted to sail smoothly, have a clean launch, and just play a fun shooter. But to see it and the Battlefield franchise collapse like this is gut-wrenching. Especially when even the smallest amount of common sense could have diverted the disastrous course this game took. Even the smallest bit of, like, Hey, is what we're doing good? Battlefield, DICE, and EA have unequivocally mismanaged the production of this game in ways that CD Projekt Red can only dream of, and to such a degree that it's time to reevaluate. It's time to look back at every single decision you made and ask yourself how you could be so fucking stupid to pursue that. It's time to clean house, to get rid of poor leadership. It's time to get rid of those people who smell their own ass and think it smells good. Perhaps it is time to give Battlefield to a developer that deserves it. I want you guys to examine every decision that led you to this predicament and learn from it, for fuck's sake. Learn to communicate with your audience and let go of your ego. Or keep messing up and give us all a new game to make fun of. You know, Cyberpunk was still a great running joke, but now we got 2042. So modern gaming is hot as shit, dude. DICE and EA do not deserve you as a player. They do not deserve your money. And this game does not deserve a review. And I'll leave you guys with a final quote. A bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, and subscribe to the Act Man for more awesome content. Alright everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Act Man signing out. Peace!